David Bovin with Kale Realty. I wanted to go over how to submit an offer via dotloop. The first step that you're going to do is to actually create the loop. So you click Create Loop. You're going to name the loop. I'm going to name it Days Test Offer. All right, the next step is to go to Templates, and you're going to choose the correct offer contract that works for you. So if you're in the city, you can go to car single family purchase car contract, or you can use the 6.1. The car contract is a little bit shorter, basically the same premise. I'm going to do the 6.1 just to go totally in depth. There it is. So you check mark it, import it in. Now you also are going to add your pre-approval in here. So you would click Add Document, Browse, and you can find your pre-approval wherever you saved it. Add that in. And you're also going to get the disclosures from the MLS. So if you're not familiar with how to do this, you're going to open up the listing, go to Additional Information. Disclosures are usually all the way at the bottom, they're added on. So you can click Disclosures. You're going to want to save them as a PDF. And now we can add in our disclosures as well. The next step is to check mark the contract, open it. And the first thing that's going to happen is you have autofill here. Now this is really going to save you some time. So depending on your buyer, you're going to add the buyer's name, Mr. Buyer number 1. You have to make sure that you have an email address. If they do not have an email address, this won't work for you. So add them. Now we're going to add Mrs. Buyer number 2. You're going to add yourself as the buying agent. The listing agent, you're going to add in their information. Oops. And if you have this information for the loan officer, go ahead and add it in. So we have Mrs. Loan Officer. So that everyone is in the loop. And you should also have your attorney. Alright, now once you have a property, you can go ahead and add it in, or you can add the MLS number. Just for the sake of this, I'm going to go ahead and add an MLS so you can see what it looks like. So if you put the MLS number, it actually comes in with the MLS listing, and it will import the data. So we have the state, the zip code, everything that you need. Financials, your purchase price, earnest money, contract date, today, closing date, typically 45 days if they're taking a loan, or 30 days for cash. And the offer date's today. Now, if you have the homeowners association info, you can add it there as well, including what it includes or what it excludes. So you're going to click autofill. It's going to go ahead and fill in a lot of the information for you. For seller name, owner of record. Now remember, if you are buying a property yourself, you have to put license Illinois real estate broker after your name. So now that everything's been added, you're basically just going to scroll through and make sure that you're not missing anything. So we have our price. Remember that Kale does not ever hold earnest money, so it's always going to be the other company or as otherwise agreed, never whoever you're representing. Here you can check mark whatever is included. You can write in what is not included. And if the seller warrants to buyer that all fixtures are in operating condition at possession except, let's say, the dishwasher doesn't work. Okay, you can write that in. Have our closing date. For mortgage contingency, you're going to look at your pre-approval. All right, so if you do a loan and you got a fixed conventional loan, all right, they're putting 20% down, so your loan's going to be for 80%. And these percentages can be seen on your pre-approval. Now here we have, if no date is inserted 21 days after the date of acceptance, buyer shall provide written evidence from buyer's licensed lending institution confirming that buyer has provided to such lending institution an intent to proceed. So you can leave that blank as long as you're doing a loan and you don't have the closing debt set for less than 21 days, which won't happen, so you should be good there. Now this one's a little tricky because it's 60 days. So if you're planning on closing within 45 days, then you need to fill in a date here. A date needs to be inserted because 60 days, you're closing before that. So we're closing January 9th, potentially. So I'm going to put in here January 4th that we have to have the written evidence from the buyer's lending institution. Your mortgage commitment, basically. If you have the disclosures, you mark that you have them. If you don't, you mark that you do not. Prorations are typically at 105%. Association fees, if it's a condo association or if there are association fees, you'd fill them in here. Attorney reviews within 5 days, along with inspection 5 days. And we're just going to get to the portions that we have to fill out. Make sure that nothing is checkmarked or initialed or anything that's goofy. All right. So if there is a pending special assessment, or if there's not, if it's located in a special assessment area, so that's related to if it is within a condo association. Now these are all optional provisions, so depending on if they fit your contract or not. If you're acting as a dual agent, they have to get initials. If your buyer is selling their real estate, they have to initial and you have to fill out this information. So if they have or have not entered into a contract, if that contract is subject to mortgage contingency, sale contingency, closing contingency, and if it has been listed with a licensed real estate broker. Okay, this all gets filled in only if it fits your contract. If not, you can just leave it blank. All right, if you have contingencies based upon the sale or closing of real estate. So if you fill that out, you have to fill out B. And the same goes for these guys. They're only privy if they are going to be used in your contract. Home warranty, credits at closing. If you're asking for a credit, you have to have them initial this and you have to put the credit amount in. If it's a cash deal, you have to have them initial here and you have to initial here. Transaction with no mortgage, all cash. If it's FHA or VA financing, same thing, have to initial here. If you're asking for a well or sanitary inspection, have to initial here. Typically, VA loans require a wood destroying infestation, so you would initial there. As is has to be initialed if it's as is. If there's specified party approval, and you have miscellaneous provisions, so if you're doing a short sale, or if it's a tax deferred exchange, a co-op, new construction, vacant land, basically anything other than your typical sale. Now this area, you just want to make sure you have it filled out completely. Don't forget you need your license numbers, okay? And that's it. So you're going to make sure that you save it. You're going to click back. You don't want to share it as of yet, because you want to make sure that you have everything in here. So you have your disclosures, you're going to open them up, make sure everything's filled in and signed by the sellers so that when you send it to your client, they have something to look at. All right, looks good. And make sure you add your pre-approval. Oh, you know what? One thing I did forget to say is on the disclosures, obviously, you're going to have to add your client's initials for them to be able to initial. All right, so you're going to go through each portion of the contract that needs to be initialed here, the disclosures, and add their initials just like that. Add initials, click the area, and assign it to which buyer you're putting on there. Lastly, you are going to have to add the signature for the buyers. So add signature, click where you want it, assign field, okay? Same thing for the next person. And you'll go through each disclosure that way. So once you have the disclosures all marked up with your client's initials, you have the contract all filled out, you're also going to insert your pre-approval in here so that they have a copy of that. You will then click share. And the first thing you're going to do is share it with your buyers, okay, so that they have fields that they need to edit and sign. So you'll click share. It will share it with them. Once they have everything filled out, you're going to look back over it, make sure they initialed everything, everything makes sense. Then you're going to go back and click share again. And you're going to also share it with the listing agent so that they can view it and send it to their clients. Now, I do not recommend only sharing it with them. You're also going to want to go in your email and send them an email and say, hey, I shot you an offer. Please let me know you have received. Also a good idea to give them a call and let them know that you sent it. If you have any other questions, feel free to give me a call at the office or you can email me, david@kalerealty.com. Thanks.